Broadcasting from the Merritt Hall Studios out of Carson City, Nevada. You're listening to Covering the Field with Big Richard Martin, Gator Gates, and Joe the Answer Ellison.
Welcome to Covering the Field. I'm Joe Ellison, and with me today are my amazing colleagues, Big Richard Martin and Gator Gates. Guys, let's start with football. Big Rich, what occurred during Week 11 in the National Football League?
Well, a lot of good things happened, Joe. Dallas probably played their best game of the year. Wouldn't you agree?
40-3. That's the largest road win in the history of the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow. So you're telling me that they played a pretty good game going into Minnesota and handling the second-seeded team in the NFC. I think the Cowboys were the superior team. Very different when Minnesota is playing from behind. And the Dallas can get after the quarterback, and they just look great all the way across.
Speaking of being from behind, Minnesota, this is an amazing stat. They're 8-2, yet they've been outscored this year. Is that? I mean, that's pretty hard to do.
That's because their losses by so little.
Their wins are by so little, and their losses are getting spanked. So they definitely got a good old spanking going on there.
But Kirk did get sacked 7 times in that game.
Kirk Cousins, right. Dallas just totally dominated.
Yeah.
If you had Kirk Cousins on your fantasy football team, you're better off having no quarterback on your team because he scored negative points in some ways.
He was on his back a lot for sure, and that's not a good place for your quarterback to be. It's kind of hard to get the ball to Jefferson when you're on your back. So that was a great game. I also like the Cincinnati game. I mean, Big Joe Burrow, he goes down to Pittsburgh, plays in formerly Heinz Field, and throws 4 touchdowns?
4 touchdowns.
Wow. So
Pittsburgh defense ain't what it used to be.
Yeah, we were talking about the home dogs, and the home dogs didn't cover on that one there.
No.
So definitely different. Cincinnati played very well, and we have to talk about Magic Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes wins again. I mean, in just the quarter. I mean, it seems like he had a minute 30, and the announcers were saying that's too much time for Patrick Mahomes. It's an exactly correct statement, because if you give that guy any amount of time, he's amazing. He's in his own category or tier for a quarterback.
Yeah. And, 13 seconds was enough last year in the Buffalo game to get him in field goal range and move him 50 yards.
That's right, Joe, yeah.
The longest 13 seconds in Buffalo.
Yes.
But I'm going to give you guys a sink or swim.
Okay.
So, Patrick Mahomes wins again, right? And he's playing in November, December. Are there 20? He has had 25 straight wins in November and December. Sink or swim?
I'll swim.
25?
I'll sink. That's 25 is too many. Nobody can dominate 2 entire months like that. I think I would have heard of that.
2 months? Well, Joe, you should be swimming with Gator, because the last time they've lost was the 2018 on the 23rd of December to Seattle, and that's probably the last time Russell Wilson won a game in December. But anyway, that's an amazing stat. That tells you he is getting it done, the time to get your team in the playoffs and get them ready.
The only one I would think that'd even be close would be Aaron Rodgers at one point.
Probably.
That would be the only other person.
But how about our Brandon Staley, our coach, on the hot seat? There was a 4th and 2 end of the first half. He
kicks the field goal against Patrick Mahomes.
But he did go up 10 points at that point, though.
Yeah,
right?
You think double digits is enough against Patrick Mahomes? I mean, I don't think it's ever enough. I mean, you get the points, you got to get up on, you got to put your your foot on the neck and take them out. And Brandon Staley won't be staling very long if he continues to play conservative football when you have to win to get in. Right now they're even out of the playoff picture.
Right. What are the games?
49ers. What do you think? They go to Mexico. I think they want to play all their games down there.
Yeah, exactly.
The altitude in Mexico.
And the fans.
The fans loved it. I mean, it was a great atmosphere. I think it was equal to probably the Munich game. Wouldn't you say for excitement?
A lot of excitement.
So I think we're definitely
the
going
game wasn't
international.
as good. Of course, Arizona was supposed to be their home game, and San Francisco's fans outnumbered them like 4-1.
Big time.
Of course,
yeah.
everybody loves the Niners down in Mexico.
Well, they like a winner.
They like a winner. Yeah. They won some pesos on that game if you took the Niners, because they definitely covered. So I thought it was great. Philly had a last-minute drive to beat Indy. I mean, the coachless team,
Indy led that game the whole way until the very last minute.
Right. That was Philly's 7th straight road win, too.
Oh, wow. So that's a good stat there.
But they didn't cover.
But they did not cover. That's for those that like to put a little wager on that. Speaking of covering and being our up-and-coming teams, I have two I want you guys to take a look at. Washington Redskins. They are now 6-5. The whole NFC East is above the 500 mark. And their only losses are to, this year, Philly, Dallas, Vikings, Tennessee, and Detroit.
And most of the games they didn't have Henke.
Right. Henke is 4-1.
4-1, and he is now the starting quarterback.
It's about time.
Yeah.
I agree.
Carson Wentz, take a seat.
He can find another team again next year.
Grab a clipboard. And so another notable thing we should talk about is the Jets quarterback, Zach Wilson. Take a seat. Mm-hmm. He's playing so bad that who are they bringing into their quarterback is going to be?
It's not. They're bringing somebody in.
Mike White.
Oh.
Mike White.
Okay.
So it's not.
What happened to Joe Flacco?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. I mean, I think that the coach over there. What's it, Robert Saleh? I think he sees something in that kid. I mean, we don't see it, but I mean, he's made great decisions so far. The defense is playing great. There was 3-3, and they punt the ball, and then the Patriots break New York's heart and runs a touchdown back. So
now
no time on the clock.
NFL 10 weeks without a punt return until that point.
First punt return for a touchdown.
Great job, Gator. That's really good.
So. Well, that game was moved to. What was that? Okay. The Buffalo game was moved to
Detroit.
Yeah, that's not the one I want to talk about. We're talking about New England. I'm sorry, I'm okay. Screwing up right there.
That's okay, Joe.
Okay,
Gotcha.
All right. It was 3-3 all the way through the game, and there were 17 punts, but the last one was returned for a touchdown.
Rugby game, Joe.
So,
them and the Broncos.
14 straight that New England has beat the Jets.
Right.
So here's a sink or swim.
Okay.
Sink or swim. There were more inches of snow in Buffalo than there were inches of yardage gained by the New York Jets in the second half of that football game.
I'm swimming. I'm saying there were more inches.
I'm sinking, Joe. I don't know what they were expecting.
They had 2 feet. They had 3 yards.
That's ridiculous.
You had to swim on that one, believe it or not.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's
the New York Jets gained 2 yards in the second half, 72 inches. There were 77 inches of snow in Buffalo on that game.
That's amazing.
And that's the game they moved to Detroit. I was jumping the gun there a little bit. So that's just insanity. But anyway, so yes, the Jets certainly are thinking about a quarterback change with the second half
and
like that.
I think they moved Zach Wilson down to 3. I think they even put him. I think he's right behind the Water Boy. Okay. There's no chance that jersey's getting dirty this week.
Okay.
So he's inactive. So
how about
it's
that?
even worse than being the third string, huh? Yeah.
So a couple other games. Anything else you want to talk about, or should I just?
Well, I want to talk about Detroit a little bit. They're playing on Thursday, so of course, I think it will be a great game. Their losses this year are to Philadelphia, the Vikings, Seahawks, Patriots, and Cowboys, all above 500, and Dolphins.
Okay.
So when they play, they're losing to good teams, and they're losing close games, and they're scoring a lot of points.
But hasn't Detroit won 3 straight?
They have won 3 straight, so they're on a 3-game winning streak.
First time in 5 years they won 3 straight.
And 2 road games.
With Jared Goff even. Oh, my God. Is this possible?
Now, they played the Giants, and I watched a little bit of that game. I can't say I watched the whole game, but every time I was looking up, didn't the Giants look like they were dazed and confused on almost every before every snap?
That was the
so
worst.
You're actually, Gator, you're calling them dazed and confused.
Daniel Jones.
But every
Daniel
time
Jones is dazed and confused.
You're seeing ghosts again.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well,
that's just that was my perception. Everybody didn't see the whole game, but I'm just telling you. Every time I looked up, they just didn't.
Well, they're still holding their own. They're still tied with the Cowboys, second place. So everybody has a bad game.
Sure, so, I got you on that. I got you.
Okay, so we'll look at that. But Detroit's playing better, and so I think we're gonna have some good Thursday games.
I still don't think it's gonna help against Dallas, though.
A couple of final notes from last week. Tennessee won at Green Bay on Thursday. A pretty awesome performance by them. Vegas won at Denver in overtime. They always seem to beat Denver. It happened again.
sure
I think
Everybody's
it's
beating Denver.
like 6 in a row.
Carr had 307 on yards,
pretty
too, so good for fantasy.
Yeah, well, he did well. And New Orleans won at home against the Rams with Andy Dalton scoring 3 touchdowns, which is also unusual. And the Rams, of course, we got to talk about some injuries there. Looking forward to Week 12. What's the latest player and injury news? Obviously, the Rams.
Matt Stafford, didn't play the third quarter, and
Concussion.
Andy Dalton threw 3 touchdowns. I would have thought that would have happened.
Concussion protocol again.
Concussion protocol again.
2 concussions in 2 months.
So stay away from the Rams. They're the first Super Bowl champions that are going to be double-digit
Losses.
double-digit losses, but double-digit underdogs. This week against, they're going to be 14.5. So they're the first.
Kansas City, of course.
Kansas City, yes.
Yes, okay. We also have Justin Fields hurt not his throwing shoulder, his other shoulder, but he's questionable.
His left shoulder.
Let's say Kyle Pitts is out for at least 4 weeks for Atlanta, hurting their offense. The New York Giants, cornerback Adoree Jackson is out 4 to 6, and wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson done for the season. Denver, Melvin Gordon fumbles again on the 1-yard line.
So long.
They just waived him.
Yep.
They just got rid of him.
If you can't hold on the ball,
Yep.
get out of Denver.
Yep. And Sam
Hopefully
Darnold.
he didn't drop his plane ticket.
Believe me, if it was his paycheck, he wouldn't have dropped that.
That's crazy.
Sam Darnold is starting for Carolina next. If you watched Baker Mayfield play last week, I mean, that was insane. They did cover the spread, getting 12, but my God, it wasn't because of his play whatsoever. And so, why not give Sam Darnold a shot? Try them all. Try everybody.
Why not?
Somebody's bound to do something eventually.
I thought PJ Walker played a good game his last.
I
his
don't
last
know why
game out.
they moved
Why
away
they
from
moved
it.
away.
That was crazy. They scored like 24 points, something, and actually won it. And now the Aaron Rodgers trade rumors have started to begin. I don't know, man.
The cheeseheads don't know what to do in Green Bay, do they? I mean, what do you do with Aaron Rodgers with that
$50 million
$50 million a year?
There's nothing you can do.
And
That's
somebody
the whole
wants
thing.
him too.
Well, I do. Yeah, San Francisco always wants to get rid of Garoppolo for some reason, and all he does is win games for you. I mean,
Back in his home stomping grounds for
exactly.
Aaron
That
Rodgers.
would be something, but that would have to be a trade because the deadline's over.
Right. That's next year. Kyle Allen. And for Davis Mills in Houston.
So they're
that's-
moving away from.
Okay, that's going to be interesting.
let's
All
watch
right,
that.
because that might be one of my picks, part of one of my picks later.
All right.
A nice little note for us to look ahead to our choices. But let's take a look at last week's game spread-wise. 8 underdogs and 6 favorites covered. That's totally normal. Only 3 underdogs won. That's a little unusual. 8 road teams won. No surprise.
Right.
Here's a surprise. 8 games went over and 6 went under. That bucks a
first
trend
time,
where usually the unders hit more. 7 games were decided by 1 score in the fourth quarter. So we had some really good finishes. So after week 11, that's 98 underdogs, 68 favorites have covered. 62 underdogs have won straight up. 72 road teams have won straight up. 93 games have gone under, 71 have gone over, regardless of what happened last week.
Right.
And nothing's really changing a whole lot as far as that total, as far as the whole season. Division-wise, 33 games have gone under. In division games, 20 have gone over.
Okay.
Now we look at the AFC. 8 teams are above 500. 7 in the NFC. The NFC is improving a little bit. And in the AFC and NFC East, all teams have winning records.
So that's interesting.
So
where
the
you
beasts
wanna
are in the East.
The
for
Beasts are
sure.
in the East.
All right, good.
Okay. As far as home and away stats go, straight up, best home teams, Miami, Buffalo, Kansas City, Philadelphia, Minnesota, and Dallas. The worst are Houston and Arizona.
Yeah.
The best road teams are Philadelphia, Minnesota, Kansas City, Baltimore, and the Jets. And the worst away teams are Carolina, Vegas, and Chicago. 7 teams are 1-4 on the road. After that, just too many to list at this moment. And once again, we thank Butch the Rain Man Roberts for those statistics. So, Big
Good
Rich,
job, Rin.
Yeah, thank
knowing all that, what are your point spread picks for this week?
Okay, I went 3-3 again last week. What were your picks there last week, Joe?
I think they went a perfect 4-0.
Victory 4-0, man.
Of course they did.
It was a good
Yeah.
job, man. You're on fire, dog.
Yeah, well, I was going to brag here after you were done making your picks, but go ahead.
Okay, well, let's go with the Thursday game. Detroit is getting 9.5. I love Detroit. I think they're going to score some points on them. Even though Buffalo might call Detroit a home. They've been there for a couple weeks now. They've never left after last week's game. They already ordered their Thanksgiving meal there. And
They did go home for
didn't play very well last week.
Wash their clothes a little bit.
Yeah.
Come back.
So I like Detroit. They're just a good. You can see they play good against. They're only losing to the good teams, and Buffalo is definitely a good team. Yeah. But I think they'll keep it close, and I'll take the 9.5 points, and hope that they play well.
We're going to get a good morning Thanksgiving game for a change.
That's right. Hopefully it'll be a good one. 9-point spread doesn't say much about a close game that what the odds makers are saying. But the next game we'll move on to is the Giants and the Cowboys. I'm taking, like we just said, division games. Take the 10 points. I know Dallas came off a big win last week, but they were playing from ahead. I think they're going to try to run the ball, keep the ball in Dak Prescott's hands. I think the Cowboys win, but I like the 10 points.
Okay.
And the night game, how do you go against Belichick? Well, I'm going against Belichick. All right, so I'm going to take the Vikings. They're only dropping 2.5. They'll win a close game. They had a bad game.
Boy, did they have a bad game.
They had a bad game, but everybody has those games. You take that. It was like Sean Payton was saying, you go a half a day from the mistakes, try to correct your mistakes, and then throw the tape in the trash because, go on, get ready for next week. I think they'll get it done. Vikings win close games. Hopefully they get it done. Go against Belichick. Broncos and Panthers, I like the under in that. It's 36. Broncos have been under every game but one this year, and I don't see that trending. I know that the Panthers are starting Sam Darnold, so that's usually an under right there, just in the zone. Yes. So we'll go ahead and take that. And I also like Titans at home, plus the 2 point. They're getting plus 2 points. I can't believe that they're at home against the Bengals. I don't know why the Titans don't get any respect. They're at home. Take the home team.
Home dog.
Yeah, home dog. We love the home dogs. And I also like the Monday night game. The Colts are minus 2.5 against the Steelers. Steelers' offense is terrible. I think the Colts should have won last week, and as you said, they were winning the whole game until a minute left in the game, and so I think they'll get it done, and they'll cover that 3 points.
All right. Gator, did you want to add a pick or two?
Well, I know you went through that stat with Baltimore on the road, but I think Jacksonville is going to beat Baltimore straight up. So I like the money line on Jacksonville.
Money line Jacksonville.
Okay, there's an upset.
The morning games seem to upset more than the afternoon games.
People are talking about Baltimore. Oh boy, they got that road to the playoffs. They're going to be the number 1 seed when all is said and done because their schedule is so easy.
Right.
I don't buy it either. This could be one of those surprise upsets.
Right, that's what I'm betting on.
Yep.
I do like Miami to win, but I have Miami at minus 13. What are they? Probably minus 14.5 now or something. So I just think that's too high for me to take that.
Houston with their new quarterback.
Exactly, and that one's
things could only get better.
13.5
is what we're looking at. So
okay.
And I like Washington at home. I got them at minus 4. I'm telling you, these numbers were a couple days ago.
Yeah, they're 4.5 now, Gator. That's good.
Okay, so I like
Atlanta.
Washington.
Okay. You're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah, if Hanky stays in there, how can you not?
They play great defense.
Atlanta really hasn't shown me much.
They have not. Their defensive backs are terrible, and their defense is subpar. And as we saw on that Thursday night game, so I believe that's a good pick too, there, Gator.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and that's it. Okay.
Okay.
We'll go to mine, and now Joe the Answer bragging segment.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm back in the saddle again. My picks, like we said, went perfect 4-0 with New England, New Orleans, Carolina, and Indianapolis all covering the spread. My picks are now 27-8 over the last 9 weeks.
Wow.
That's 77%.
Yeah, I'm sitting next to you. You are hot.
Yes. Thank God for indoor heating because it's really cold outside. This week, I'm totally in agreement with you. I like Tennessee plus 1.5 at home. You tell me now it's 2. It's going up.
Yes.
I mean, Tennessee never gets any respect. I don't understand it. And they're at home. So I really like that. That's the wrong favorite. Again, I'm agreeing with you. I'm taking Denver and Carolina under 36 points. Denver is playing, right? So you have to take the under. You don't have a choice.
Are you sure they're playing?
I don't know.
Them and Iowa.
Showing up, they're putting on uniforms and going through the motions.
Yeah. Russell Wilson will be crying, making excuses after the game. We're going to get better. Well, you can't get any worse. So
yeah, there's no.
I'm trying Atlanta and Washington over 42 points. Like Atlanta's offense, don't like their defense, and Taylor Heineke has definitely got a spark under this team. And finally, I'm going with Houston and Miami over 46 points. Miami scores a lot of points, but they give up a lot of points. Sure. And we have the new quarterback for Houston, but he's not a rookie. He's a veteran, so I like that. Okay. So one side and 3 totals for me this week. Now we move on to college football. What were the big stories from last week's games, Big Rich?
Well, the week before, the top 5 all covered the spread. This week, none of them covered the spread.
No.
So the top 4 teams did not cover the spread. And the 5th team, Tennessee, lost their championship hopes, and they lost their quarterback for the 2022 season. Hayden Hooker has an ACL injury, and he's done for the year. You will not see him in orange anymore. He'll be playing on Sundays next week. Great quarterback, great season. Heisman dreams are over, of course, and Tennessee's championship run is now done.
Yep.
Played horrible. South Carolina sold out. I don't know. It was like over 10 straight sellout games there. They support their team, and it was just a great atmosphere.
Spencer Rattler,
the former
Oklahoma quarterback.
He spanked the Tennessee defense again. But Georgia, they slipped by Kentucky. They're 16-6. That was a close game. Ohio State hung in there, but they didn't cover the spread. They did win. And then Michigan beat Illinois. And TCU beat Baylor, and both those games were on the last-second field goal. So it was close to losing the 3 and 4 seeds.
If you were watching football Saturday morning, right around noon, watching the ends of that TCU and Michigan games, that's about as exciting as football has been this year.
Right, it's been great. They had the game won, and it's tough loss. Tough loss
for the Baylor fans. They were devastated.
And Illinois played such a great game.
Yeah.
We got to look at Michigan's. I don't know how long he's out going.
Corum, the running back.
Yes,
that could be a huge loss.
That could be a huge loss. So we have to look at that going into the Ohio State game next week.
Yeah. And the Illinois coach Brett Bielema very upset about some of the officiating and stuff at the end of that game, and saying Michigan should not have won that game.
Right.
So.
Yeah, they had 110 fans and 5 referees on their side, is what they were saying.
110,000 fans.
Yeah. Okay. So we're still waiting on Corum before that could affect the spread.
Considering they're playing Ohio State this week, oh my God, right. You got to have them.
Well, let's talk about that, Joe. Ohio State, Michigan. The winner of that will go into the Big Ten Championship in Week 14. And now you still have who's winning? Iowa, which just never scores over 15 points, 16 points a game, and they got smacked by Ohio State earlier in the season. So if they win, they'll win it out. But
that'll be an awful game.
And they've got LSU and Georgia. They're already set for their SEC game.
Right.
And then also we have the Battle of Ohio. We have Toledo and Ohio playing in the MAC.
Okay.
So that'll be a good game. I love Ohio in that game, but that will be for next week.
The Bobcats. Okay.
Yes.
Next week.
They looked really good last night. And Fresno State and Boise State will be playing in the Mountain West.
No
Those
surprise.
are the ones we know.
No surprise there.
No surprise there.
Okay.
We can't go on without talking now. USC's jumped up to 5 after their win at UCLA. That was a great game if you got to see it. Both teams were scoring pretty much at will. 48-45, I believe, was the final. Covered the 2.5, like we said. Caleb Williams gets them to their 10th win of the season. And I think they moves them up to 5. And as long as they can win out, it just looks like they'll be playing probably, is it Oregon if they win out? Or is it...
it was Oregon or Utah. I haven't figured that out yet, personally.
Well, we'll look into that.
Okay.
That's going to be a big one for the next week. But USC is definitely going to be in there.
Okay.
So my picks last week went 4-3. Iowa went under again, just like Denver goes under again. So my first pick for next week... If there's anything else you want to talk about.
I was going to say it's interesting that USC is going out of conference for their last game, playing Notre Dame.
Right.
So
that could
that could be a difference maker for USC in their national title hopes.
Well, Notre Dame could drop them. I don't know. Caleb Williams looking like Patrick Mahomes, very, very good throwing against the body and look very, very good.
Maybe we can find out how strong the Pac-12 actually is, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, when they play each other, they look good, but USC did give up 45 points last week.
Right. And UCLA,
the good goes with the bad right there. Okay, so we got USC and Oregon tied in conference. No, wait.
No.
8-1. Yes. 8-1, 7-1. So Oregon has one more game. The Oregon State, obviously, their rival, coming up this week, and those are apparently the only two teams that can win the conference because USC is USC played Oregon though, right? Didn't they?
No,
they did not.
They have not played Oregon, but Oregon game. Washington beat Oregon, so they'll have the tiebreaker. So Washington, if they can win out, and if Oregon stumbles at Oregon State this week, they can.
I see. They don't break it up into halves anymore, so that's what's got me so confused.
Well, the Pac-12 and the Big 12.
So just the top two teams,
which I agree to, because I would love to see Michigan and Ohio State again, rather than seeing Iowa.
Sure.
And their awful offense. Anyway.
Yes.
So moving on to the picks. Like I said, I was 4-3 last week. Had a couple tough ones I lost. But I'm going to start with Iowa, Nebraska. This is a Friday game.
Okay.
It's opened at 40 under.
40.
That's already high. It's already down to 38.5. So you better get it because obviously people are jumping on Iowa not scoring, and Nebraska's offense is not the best either. So I think this will be probably below 30. I would imagine. I was expecting the spread to be at 33, maybe 32. Last week it was 31 and it still went under. Yeah. So I'm going to take that one. It'll be my first under/over pick. Cal's at home. They're getting 10 points at UCLA. I think Cal will cover that 10 points. I don't know if they'll win, but Cal played very well against USC.
They have a history of playing UCLA very well.
Very tough. And so they're at home, so I'd love a home dog with 10 double digits, 10 points, way too many points. Tulane and Cincinnati. Tulane has an awful offense. And they have a great offense and an awful defense. Mm-hmm. And Cincinnati is now back in the top 25. So that's at 46. I see that going over. So Tulane does have good offense, bad defense. Expect that one to be probably in the 50s. Okay. All right. K-State minus 10.5 over Kansas. They're at home. They win. They get the Big 12. They'll be able to get a rematch against TCU. I like K-State.
That Kansas story was really good at the beginning of the season.
Sure was.
Kind of fizzled out at the end.
Fizzled out, not playing very good defense, but their offense is effective. But K-State's playing very well right now. Okay. I like the Wildcats in Manhattan. Uh-huh. So Michigan's getting 7.5. Of course, I'm going to have to take the 7.5 points. J.J. McCarthy. So I'm saying that they keep it close. I say they keep it close. They run the ball very well. I think if they can run the ball, keep it a low-scoring game, and keep C.J. Stroud from running up and down the field. They did not look good last week. Ohio State's defense did not look good. So I think that if they can play tough, this is always a good game. I'm going to take the 7.5.
Big revenge game for Ohio State from last year. Losing in the big storm in Michigan. The weather won't be like that, I don't think, this week. I didn't hear anything about any bad weather. That one scares me. I might have to go against you on that one.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. We love that game. We love that Michigan Ohio State. If you don't love that, you don't.
Oh, you got to watch it.
Yeah, for sure.
Either way, you got to watch it.
So you got to put a wager on it. Okay. So I say it's going to be close. Washington State, and the Apple Bowl. Yeah. It's Apple Bowl, or is it the Apple Classic or something? Yeah. Washington's the Apple State. I'm taking Washington minus the 2. I know I took Washington State last week and won, but I think Washington is the better team. Michael Penix Jr. looks great. I think that he'll get it done and hopefully put some pressure on them, and maybe they can get into that final game against USC.
Yep, okay. Well, those are some good picks. I had TCU last week. I didn't cover, so I'm going to refrain from making picks, although you almost talked me into taking Ohio State because it's such a big revenge game. So I'm thinking about that, but I'm not making any picks this week in college. So, Gator, soccer's World Cup is in full swing. What's the news from Qatar?
Okay, well, I went the first 4 games this World Cup. I went 4-0.
Well, that's a start.
So Group A and Group B I nailed. But then That was on Monday. On Tuesday, we went 2 for 4. And that was Argentina losing. So I'm sure everybody in the world had Argentina, so I'm not feeling too bad.
What were they, plus 300, or was that really, it had been
Saudi
minus
Arabia
300?
is the way I heard it. They were a 25-1 underdog to win that game outright.
It was started at 20-1, and by the game time, it was at 25-1.
Unbelievable.
And my other one was Denmark. I had them to win, but they drew.
With Tunisia, the North Africans.
Exactly.
So that is a surprise.
And then today, wake up and find out that Germany lost to Japan, Joe. Another big upset.
That's stunning.
Stunning.
Do you have any concept as to how that happened?
No, because I was sleeping.
So were the Germans. I mean, I know they don't want to serve any beer there in
well,
Qatar.
That's what it is. The Qatar pulled the rug out from under the German fans, man. They were going to allow beer sales until right before the tournament. They totally fake them out, say, oh, we're going to have beer, and then right at the end, no beer. They never intended to have beer in the first place. You can't trust those guys.
They got hosed.
I think Germany's, all their fans have just pulled out of the country. They just said, nope, we're out of here. We're getting refunds on all our tickets. No beer, no German fans, and that's my theory on that.
Now, so there's 2 losses for me today, and now when I was coming to the show, Spain was up by 3 goals at halftime, so hopefully I can get that one, Joe.
Okay, we can start making some comebacks. You're going to have some picks for next week's action now?
Okay, sure. Well, we can go with Thursday. I got Brazil I have Brazil at -1, -135.
Wouldn't that be amazing if Brazil and Argentina both lost their first game?
How can you say that,
Oh,
Joe?
my God. But go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. I guess it could happen. Geez.
Who are they playing?
Brazil?
It's not Croatia, is it? No. We forgot. I got the sheet in the other room.
Yeah. Okay. That's
all right.
that question. Okay, so Spain? No, Spain's playing today.
Spain won 7-0.
Oh, Spain won 7-0. Okay, thank you. That was our producer. Thank you. Okay, so anyways, I have Brazil -1, -135. Sweden at a draw.
Playing Serbia.
Serbia. There you go.
Okay.
Portugal at -1, -135, and Uruguay at -140. That's Thursday. Now Friday, England's playing USA. Sorry guys, I told you USA was going to draw. I picked that one right.
Against Wales.
Against Wales. England's going to... I would take the -2, Joe. I would take the two-way -2. You're going to make money there, Joe.
They'd have to win by 3 in order to win. I think you're underestimating the USA a little bit. But anyway, go ahead.
I like Wales and Iran draw.
I could see that.
And Netherlands, got to take Netherlands over Ecuador. And Qatar and Senegal, I'm taking Senegal over Qatar.
Okay, so Qatar could be the worst team in the tournament. They didn't even have to qualify because they're the host country.
Right.
So
what about if 2 teams come out of each division?
Right.
So
each group.
USA's got to, if they can somehow pull off a tie.
They have to win. No, if they pull out a tie, they're going to have 2 points, and that's
well, they could tie every game
that
and
would
have
be 3 points.
Yeah. And that could get you there. Then you go into maybe goal differential.
Yes.
If some other team also has 3 points.
Still a long shot.
Still a long shot.
If everybody tied everybody's game, and
We got to beat the Brits. Is what you're saying.
with
We got to beat the Brits.
goal differential.
All right.
We have to beat Iran. That's our best bet.
We got to beat Iran. If
That's
we can't
the
beat
best
Iran, we don't deserve to be in the next round.
And I'm calling that a draw anyways.
So we could be in trouble. Okay.
I think, yeah.
All right.
Okay. But you guys, that first goal, that was the first time USA got a goal in 8 years.
Well, we didn't play 4 years ago.
Exactly.
So that helps.
So that's a plus.
Yeah, we did score.
All right, let's go Saturday. I want to get through these here. I got Argentina and Mexico. You think Mexico's going to beat Argentina? I think Argentina's going to get a kick in the butt and come out and just pound Mexico.
There'll be a revolution in Argentina if they don't advance to the second round. So
right.
I think they will bounce back. I like that.
Poland's going to be playing Saudi Arabia. How can you go against Saudi Arabia after that?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. France, I have over Denmark and
I like that.
Tunisia and Australia. That usually could be a tie, but I do think Tunisia is a little bit better team. You might want to look at the draw too.
Okay.
Sunday, this is the game, Joe. Spain and Germany Sunday.
Okay.
I have Germany, but I wish I could be watching that Spain game. I would think Germany can score. I think
Well, Spain can score too. They just scored 7.
Well, yeah, but they scored 7 against a team.
Well, maybe they shot their wad. I don't know. 7.
Yeah. Japan and Costa Rica.
Japan beat Germany. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They've got to beat Costa Rica too. At least a tie, right? Come on.
Yeah, I'm going to go draw.
You're going to go for a draw. All right.
Okay. Croatia and Canada. I know everybody's hyped on Canada. I'm going Croatia, straight up. No
European
draw.
teams, absolutely.
Belgium and Morocco. I have Belgium.
Sure.
That was Sunday. Now Monday we have Portugal and Uruguay, and that's going to be a pretty great game. I think Uruguay is going to make it close, but you got to take Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay. His last World Cup, probably.
Yes, I would think so.
Yeah.
I have Ghana over South Korea.
Okay.
Brazil's playing Switzerland. I have Brazil.
Of course.
And Cameroon and Serbia. I don't know too much about Serbia. I'm still going to take Cameroon. I think, just their history alone.
Okay.
Now, Tuesday, we have Netherlands over Qatar.
Sure. That's an easy one.
Ecuador and Senegal. I think it's going to be a draw, and I also think the winner of that game is the team that's going to move on. Iran and USA. All right, I'll take a draw.
Draw, go USA. Come on, man. All right, you had Iran winning that game.
I really do.
Oh my God. I don't think USA could handle that.
I don't think USA can handle Iran.
Okay, fair enough.
Wales and England. You have to go with England
For sure.
Now Wednesday, the day of the show for next week, I have Saudi Arabia over Mexico.
Oh wow.
Argentina over Poland, France over Tunisia, and Denmark over Australia.
Now that looks like an easy day right there. You should hit all
I
four of
need
those.
one.
Yeah, that's
Start out good and end up good, I guess.
Okay. We'll see how those go. Obviously, it's going to be a lot of great action. And there will be some upsets, obviously.
Obviously.
Yes. So, Big Rich, do you have any NBA news? I know we're in the middle of the season.
Well, we're getting
early in the season.
Early in the season still.
say
We
middle.
about Christmas time is when we start really looking to see what's happening. In the NBA, the West, who's hot? Sacramento Kings.
No way.
Yes, they are. 7 straight wins, Joe.
Impossible.
And not impossible. The Kings are rolling, and also the Pelicans look good in the West. In the East, Boston went 9-1 out of 10 games.
Oh.
And the Bucks are 12-4 on the season. The surprise, I think, are the Wizards. They're winning. They're tied in the Southeast Division, and former Laker Kyle Kuzma is just tearing it up. He's averaging 19.1 points with 8.2 rebounds.
Yeah, my Lakers are missing that guy.
They're missing a 32% three-point from the outside, so he's got the Wizards playing good. It's just getting started, but there's some good stuff out there. The Bucks play tonight. Boston plays tonight against the Mavericks. I definitely like Boston. I've only given up 4.5 after that disappointing loss in Chicago.
So Sacramento's better than the Lakers now. I don't know if I can
That's
handle
hard to
that.
say, yeah.
Well, they actually got 5.
Okay.
Well, they definitely. I think they're 5-10 right now, and they're at the bottom of the West.
How low can you get?
Yeah,
Oh,
What
my
can you
God.
get? And you just think they traded Kuzma, who's averaging 19 points.
That was part of the Westbrook trade.
Westbrook trade,
Oh, my
exactly.
God,
So
what a mistake that was.
I mean, Mr. Magoo could pick a bigger pick than that. So I don't know what the Lakers are thinking, but their GM had to go and did go, and I think they have to make some, tough decisions in the future. Maybe have to trade, Anthony Davis to get some picks or something. I don't know. He's playing really good right now.
This is getting very painful. We have to keep LeBron and Davis and try to build around them, is my opinion, but we'll see what they do.
Right.
So, Big Richard, what happened in college basketball?
Well, the biggest
Last
upset had to been Texas beating number 1 Gonzaga.
Absolutely.
Oh, they spanked them. Dylan Mitchell, their 5-star freshman from Florida, He looked amazing. And Texas looks really good. They moved up to number 4 in the nation on the rankings. NC State.
Why wouldn't they be number 1 in the nation?
They're number 4, and so I would think they'd be number 1, just spanking them. They're 4-0. They haven't lost yet. But they got North Carolina. They haven't really played a top 25 team yet, but they have North Carolina number 1. They have Houston number 2. They're only. Actually, they're favored to win the NCAA double tournament right now. If you took a futures bet, Houston is. They beat Oregon.
Yeah. They would have the easiest road, and their conference is weaker.
Right.
So
it's tough to take futures right now because you got to get lucky in the tournament. So unless you can get 100-1 odds, and get somebody like. Texas, I think, is
St.
still,
Peter's.
St. Peter. You probably get them better than that. I guarantee you. They have a better chance than Chicago Bears winning the Super Bowl for sure. But I think they're 1,000-1 odds to win the Super Bowl this year. But I think they're mathematically even out of it. So Vegas will still take your money if you want to bet on them. All right. Virginia looks really good. They beat Illinois and Baylor. They're at 5, and Kansas beat Duke. And Michigan State has moved up to 13. They've only losses on an aircraft carrier. They beat Kentucky and they beat Villanova. So I think that's the team you could probably. I like it. If I had to make a pick on the futures, I'd take Michigan State right now.
Yeah, they just got a little seasick at the end of that game, and
it's tough to play outside in the wind on an aircraft carrier. You're definitely not going to be able to shoot free throws as well and 3-pointers for sure. So
and they only lost by 1 point.
And they lost by 1 point. They were winning most of the game.
Almost the entire game. Yes,
right.
Indeed. Okay, is that it for college hits?
Your Arkansas team, they lost last night to Creighton in a great game.
Creighton's an excellent team.
Creighton's an excellent team, and you should probably, I think you'd get them today at with +2 against Arizona in the finals.
Okay. All right. So, Gator, we got to move on to hockey. Is there any news from the National Hockey League? Any teams we should be watching? Do you want to do the hot and cold or anything specific?
Well, the biggest news to me, Joe, is New Jersey. 67 minutes out of a 788 minutes have they trailed. That's 8%, Joe. This
domination.
Year.
How about my Boston Bruins? They're probably in the same area, right? They've only lost twice.
Well, they're 7-0 in their last 7 games.
Okay.
The only team that's better is New Jersey. They're 13-0.
Wow.
St. Louis is also 7-0. Colorado's 7-1, and Seattle, Joe, 7-2. They're 2-0 in the
what a
last
story!
2 games.
They're cracking.
I'm telling you.
Second year. They did it a different way than Vegas did as an expansion team, but they're getting basically the same results.
Mm-hmm. And not spending the money.
Not spending the money, yes.
Okay, so and I thought that was great. I really do. Okay, anyways, cold. Let's go with cold. We got Philadelphia. They're 0-7.
Oof.
Buffalo was 0-8 until last night.
They won last night,
so they're 1-8. Anaheim 1-6, 0-3 in their last 3. The Ducks. And 3 teams. We have Washington, Arizona, and Chicago, 0-4.
Okay, so those are your hot and cold. Your picks went 7-3 last week, putting you at 40-24 so far for the season. That's 62.5%. Pretty good.
Thank you.
What are your choices for next week?
All right. There's no games Thursday. Thanksgiving, right. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Not even in Canada?
Not even in Canada.
They spend Thanksgiving on a different day.
Correct.
But
it's earlier than ours.
Yeah, right.
Okay. It's in October.
Right.
Okay. Friday, 2 games. New Jersey hosting Buffalo. I like New Jersey. Or no, it's at Buffalo. New Jersey's at Buffalo. I like New Jersey. And Detroit is hosting Arizona. I like Detroit. Saturday, I have 1 game. That's the Islanders over the Flyers, Philly. Sunday, I have 4. Minnesota over Arizona. Seattle over Anaheim. Vancouver, they're playing at the Sharks. I like Vancouver. And LA over Ottawa. Ottawa should be on that cold list too, but
we'll put them on there.
Sure. Montreal, Monday I have Tampa Bay at Buffalo. I like Tampa Bay. Edmonton to beat Florida. And Tuesday I have 1 game, Montreal over San Jose.
Poor San Jose.
You're
just the whipping boy of the NHL.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
they're one
Arizona was last year. So.
Arizona was last year, and Vancouver's pretty close to it this year too. I think they're like 4-9.
All right, so that's all your picks?
Yep.
Okay.
That'll put me there.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, we'll see how those go.
Line.
All right. So Formula One wrapped up its season last Sunday. We can put Formula One to bed now. What transpired in Abu Dhabi, I believe they were at.
That's correct. I thought it was Dubai, but it was Abu Dhabi, correct?
Sounds the same.
And same place anyway, same area. Max Verstappen won, Joe, and did earn his 15th checker flag this year to extend his record-breaking year.
That's going to be tough to beat.
Yes, I think so too. But the race itself wasn't very eventful, Joe. He pretty much took the lead and had the lead the whole time. Nobody even came close to him. But the story to me, Joe, was Lewis Hamilton didn't win a race all year. He said it was among the top 3 of his worst seasons of his career. Now, this 7-time champion recorded his worst ever position in the final driver standings. He finished 6th.
Yeah.
That's not too bad for your worst, though, Joe.
Yeah, no, that's not too bad.
Yeah, so it's hard to feel sad
And
for
he
him.
has won 7. He's won 7 championships. So.
Exactly. Now, in the race itself, Joe, like I said, Verstappen, Red Bull received first. Leclerc, Ferrari, Charles
Leclerc.
He received second, and Sergio Perez, the other Red Bull, he got on the podium in third. Now, the constructors standings, they finished with Red Bull first, Ferrari second, and Mercedes did end up in third.
So, that's it. And that's it for this year for Formula One. Next year, anything to look forward to?
Well, yeah, Logan Sargent will race for Williams, and he's going to be the first American in Formula One since Alexander Rossi in 2015.
All right.
And with the new races in America, I'm so excited. The race in Vegas is going to be at night down the strip. I can't wait. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, that's going to start catching on.
I think so too, Joe.
Yep. So in baseball, we should congratulate Houston's Justin Verlander in the American League and Miami's Sandy Alcantara in the National League for winning the Cy Young Awards. They were both favorites at the end of the season and followed through. And we should congratulate New York's Aaron Judge and St. Louis's Paul Goldschmidt for earning the MVP trophies. And how about Aaron Judge visiting San Francisco the other day? Is this possible that Aaron Judge is going to be a San Francisco Giant?
I think it's probable.
Born and raised in Linden, California, about 100 miles away.
Went to Fresno State. So California connection for sure.
Okay.
The Dodgers are in the running for that too.
Correct.
Is Shohei Ohtani going to be traded? That's another off-season thing.
That's a hard one to believe if that happens.
That's going to be tough to be a California fan if you do that.
He loves it here in California. The culture and everything. I don't think he's leaving California. He'll stay in California.
Stay on the West Coast as close to Japan as possible.
He can, right. Great sushi out there.
And there are 4 shortstops that are available that's going to be snatched up pretty soon here. Available.
Trey Turner, the big, the
Dodgers.
The Silver Slugger, yeah.
That could be the big one. The Hall of Fame voting deadline is in late December, announcement in January, and we thank Rockin' Ronnie McKinnon for the baseball news.
We go Rockin'.
And we congratulate the Toronto Argonauts, an upset over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Captain for winning their 3rd straight Grey Cup.
You guys
plus 175.
And we were
plus
wrong on
175, and you guys were ready to crown them last week on the show. You were ready to give them the
trophy right
then and there.
Grey Cup.
We've been crowning them for 3 years straight. What's to keep us from believing they're going to win it again?
All right.
The best team doesn't always win.
All right.
True.
So
True enough.
Yeah. So it's time we get to that part of the show where we celebrate our winners. Oh, but no, they end up being losers right at the end. We thought we were going to win. It's a segment we call You Got Hosed.
You got hosed.
You have a You Got Hosed story, Joe?
Well, of course I have a You Got Hosed story. I got hosed on an 18 parlay last Sunday. I took my 4 picks from the show and added 4 totals. Unfortunately, one of my totals was the over in the Dallas-Minnesota game, 48.5 points. Dallas did their part, scored 40 points by themselves. Minnesota scores only 3. You got the best wide receiver in football, Justin Jefferson. Explosive running back, Dalvin Cook, and all you score is 3 freaking points? Just one more touchdown, and I hit an 8-teamer. Right. Unbelievable. Oh. I got hosed.
Yeah, you got hosed on that, and so did Kirk Cousins.
Well, he was one big bruise at the end of the game.
Exactly.
Yes, he didn't need to wear his uniform. He was just purple all over his whole body. That's how bad he was bruised up. Gator, do you have a you got hosed story?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Argentina losing. I mean, there was so many people, Joe, that put their Argentina on every ticket, Joe.
Oh, so did I. Yes, on the 3-way, no less. So all I had to do was minus 600 or something, or 700. How could they possibly lose?
Messi messed them up, man. I'm telling you, all those tickets, I guess.
I think you all got hosed.
Yeah, the whole world. Well, you got hosed there, Gator. I had Hopkins to score the first touchdown of the Monday night game. It was 12-1 odds. And
Dustin Hopkins, Arizona.
Yes, Arizona. And who would think they were on the 5-10 yard line? Hopkins is left. He's getting 10 receptions a game. They throw to him, and he never makes it past the 5 yard line. They held him up. I don't know. It's hard to believe he just stopped. So it should be some kind of pass interference. They didn't give him a chance to get up and get the ball. I think if he gets out there, it's always a great shot. Hopkins is going to catch the ball. And besides, not selling barrel to World Club, I think I got it.
Well, you got it. There was no flag on the play?
No flag. They just said,
tackle him and just said, you ain't getting in the
You guy tackled him and said,
that's as far as you go.
Big Rich, you got host. Thanks, referees.
Okay.
You got hosed.
Well, that's it for the show. I'd like to thank Big Richard Martin, Gator Gates, all our contributors, our editor, producer, and engineer, Cornelius, and all you listeners out there. And next week, we look forward to bringing you another episode of Covering the Field.
You've been listening to Covering the Field. Email us at coveringthefield@gmail.com for all your comments or questions. Find us on Twitter @CoveringField. And of course, always check out the website for our picks of the week and updated articles. coveringthefield.com.